Mike Cernovich, CERNOVICH.com. Sorry about that earpiece. We have a special guest here to answer a lot of pressing questions. We have Brian Kolfage, who is a retired Air Force veteran, a veteran of the war, and also he has funded a project that got a lot of media attention, and it got a little too successful, and I think he figured out what happens when you become influential. So let's go ahead and let Brian talk for a minute about, one, the wall project, but two, why is it that whenever a conservative does something that gets successful, how does your life change? It changes in a really interesting way.
Well, thanks for having me, Mike. We started this GoFundMe in December, just a couple of weeks ago, right before Christmas. Over 300,000 people have donated. That's 300,000 conservatives and Democrats who have given their money, over $20 million right before Christmas. That's the hardest time to get donations. $20 million. These people want the border wall. They want security. They want the wall. And they're having their voices heard, and they're screaming at the politicians. And that's why this is so successful, because they want the security. Democrats now are angry. They see how successful this was going, but they don't want it. They don't want this to happen at all. So now they're coming and attacking us and lying. They're trying to spread rumors to discredit what we're doing. They're saying that everyone's getting refunds and the whole thing's refunded and it's a failure and all this other stuff. It's not true. All people have to do is go look at the GoFundMe. It's still got $20 million and rising. The more these liberals attack us and lie, the more people are donating. So keep it up, guys. I mean, they want to keep spreading lies. Everyone's still going to open their wallets and donate. And that's where we're at right now. You've seen all the attacks on my family. You know about the attacks on family. You've experienced it. And this is not something I asked for. I didn't ask to be attacked. I gave 3 limbs for my country, for my nation. I earned my right to have a political opinion, and I earned my right to have the right to protect my family. And that's what I'm doing, Mike. And that's why it's so important for me.
Yeah. So I saw an update. Correct me if I'm wrong, because it took me a while to kind of figure this out. My understanding is that you're leaving the GoFundMe. You're going to start, is it a C4 or is it a C3? I've heard both.
We started a 501c4, We Build the Wall, Inc., and webuildthewall.us is our website.
So you started a 501c4, and the money from the GoFundMe is going to be transferred to the C4, but only if people opt in. Do I understand that correctly?
That is correct. We made a promise to people initially. If we did not hit the $1 billion mark, we would refund their money. I made that promise. I'm staying true to my word. And if people do not want to go forward with this, they can have a refund. If they want to go forward and build the damn wall, we're going to build that wall with this money, and we're going to build it directly. We're taking it right down to the border.
Okay, so that's what I want to take a step back on is,
okay.
The default is people get a refund from the GoFundMe. Is that correct?
Right. After 90 days, if they don't respond, they will get a refund. Okay,
so then if people are saying you're stealing the money, that just isn't true, right?
No, that's completely false. This whole project, I won't take a penny from these donations. Not a penny. I won't get paid from this corporation. Nothing.
Okay, yeah, because that's what confused me is I saw the project took off, and then I log on today, and I hadn't followed it that closely, and then people are like, oh no, he's stealing the money and he's moving it to the C4, and then I thought, well, wait a minute, I don't even think that would be possible because GoFundMe holds the money sort of in escrow, so to speak. Right. So could you talk? Would it even be possible for you to quote unquote steal the money, even if you wanted to?
No, it's not possible to steal the money. We set up a corporation. We have an advisory board. We have an audit committee. We have a finance committee, and we have experts that are keeping track of every penny, every single penny. It's a corporation. I can't touch that money. It's not for me. We have bylaws set up. If I did anything wrong with that money, I'd be booted out of the corporation. It's just like that. I'd be voted out.
Okay. And not only that, but GoFundMe is only going to put the money in the C4 if people affirmatively opt in for the money to go to the C4.
That is correct. Okay. And that's why it's really important. We need people to opt in if they want to build that southern border wall.
Now, how are they going to do that? I looked at it. I was like, I didn't realize it was 330,000 people. Logistically, what does that look like? How are donors even going to be able to make that choice to opt in or to get the refund?
Well, we have a way to contact every donor, and GoFundMe is contacting the donors as well. And we're reaching out to them by email, and we have it in place, and we can do it. It's just all we have to do. All we have to do is get all those donors to check their email, and then they can handle it. It's as simple, and it's in place right now.
By the way, don't worry if your kids show up on
Yeah,
Periscope. My daughter,
no, it's all good.
she does it all the time. So people are used to the cameos
Yeah,
by the kids. So okay, the C4 then it's live. It's locked and loaded. Everything's going
yeah,
now.
it's locked and loaded. It's locked and loaded. We have a stacked advisory board. You know, people would just go look at our advisory board, and we have General Spalding, who's a White House expert. He's Trump's man to China. We have the top leading experts on national security with all the border wall stuff, construction. John Moran, a major industrialist. I mean, awesome guy who knows everything about the construction border wall process. The list goes on, and we're going to be rolling out more people who we have that will further build to our team and let the people know that we have all the things in place to make this successful.
So is the money now going to go to the Fed, or I saw you're going to try to build it yourselves? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
We are building it mile by mile for half the cost of what the United States government is paying right now for the wall. It's right now, U.S. pays around 18 to 20 million per mile. Our experts figured we could pay around $2 to $3 million per mile for our wall, not including the land acquisition cost or leasing. So we're, maybe throw on a few more million. It could be around 7 or 8 million per mile, and that's pushing it. So we've done all the homework. We have the white papers coming out, research that has never been done yet by anybody. We figured out the cost of every little thing down to every little penny.
So what you're going to do then is the C4 would buy the land and then put the
Uh,
wall on the land?
Well, currently, right now, what the government does is they lease the land. They lease a section of that land, 60 feet and back.
Okay.
But that's what the government does. We're not the government. We can go direct with these landowners who might want the wall. They might not want to even they might pay us to put the wall on their property for all we know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we don't know what we're going to deal with. We have landowners right now. There's hundreds of miles along that border that are privately owned, and we can directly impact it by protecting the people. And everyone who has donated will have a direct impact on building that southern border wall and impacting national security.
Okay, I have a few reader questions, if you don't mind taking some reader questions.
Yeah, not a problem.
Okay, great. One person said a concern is that since you're a private entity, it would be harder to use eminent domain. So you'd be trying to deal with private landowners, but you wouldn't really have or most likely wouldn't have the eminent domain authority. Have you guys thought about that yet? And if so, what's your answer?
Well, we have thought about it, and right now we're focusing on building on private property of landowners who want the wall. We will see what happens. Like I said, we're gonna take it mile by mile. We'll get the first mile up, see what happens, and just keep on pushing. We're not gonna be building the entire border wall off the bat. Like, that's the government's job. We're filling in the gaps right now to see what we can do, to see what kind of impact we can have while this other stuff gets funded. Because we know the Democrats are not going to give Trump a penny for his wall. It could be years. So if we can lay out a couple hundred miles right now over the next couple of years, that's going to have a huge impact and help our border patrol. It's going to help stop the illegal immigrants coming across the border, impact all the opioids coming across the border. We can be saving lives right now. The time is not to wait on this. We need to act now.
Okay, great. We have a question from John Smith. He says, what is he paying himself? Reimbursing himself for costs, etc. is totally justified. We just need to know how much.
In our bylaws, it is specifically spelled out. I will not take a penny for anything. The only thing that would be paid for possibly, if I had to travel from point A to point B, I would pay out of my pocket and be reimbursed later. There's nothing. All the GoFundMe funds, not a penny of that goes towards me, and I will not touch a penny of it. And it's going to be set up in a special account with an audit committee, and the audit committee will ensure that every penny is accounted for, and just as we promised, every dollar from that GoFundMe will 100% go only to the construction of the border wall.
Okay.
So now
okay, great. So Brian asks, how are you going to transfer the money to the Fed? But that's a moot point now, right? Because you're not going to transfer money to the federal government.
We're not transferring them. We're building. We the people are building the wall ourselves.
Okay, what is we have another one. Justin B says, what's the next project you have in mind? Although I would probably like to stay more focused on the wall, but you know, it's a reader question. So what's the next project you have in mind?
I don't have another. This is my project right now. This is all I'm doing. I'm dedicating my time. I know I gave up my entire Christmas, New Year's Eve with my family to work on this project in Washington, D.C., while the Democrats were off in Hawaii. You know, I was putting my money where my mouth is and doing work for the American people to get this done. I gave 3 limbs for this nation, and I'm dedicated to this. I've invested to this country, and I am worried about where we're heading right now, and that's why I'm taking this so serious.
Now, another question is what legal and guaranteed way can be ensured that the money will only go to the wall?
We have a finance audit committee, and it's in our bylaws. It lays out our bylaws, everything where this money goes and what it can be used for. The current money from the GoFundMe will only be used for the construction of the border wall. It won't be used for anything else. Now, future funds that are generated, there might be other costs that with admin and paying employees to build the wall. But the GoFundMe wall, the GoFundMe account, those funds only go towards the wall as promised.
Great. Now I see that somebody said you've done a lot of GoFundMes in the past. Is there any truth to that?
I have done, I believe, 2 other GoFundMes.
Okay, because one guy says, this is NBC, they're claiming you're only trying to build an email list. How do you respond to that?
That's called internet marketing, and that is how we contact people, and that's what we're doing here. It's everyone builds email lists. That's what companies do.
Yeah, because it's fun. This is the interesting thing about.
I think Obama has the biggest email list. Doesn't he have like a couple million?
Well, that's what's kind of funny to me is I'm literally reading articles about you while we're talking. That's why I'm sort of looking down a little bit, and you know they're always trying to make something that everyone does sound nefarious. So the latest is that you're only trying to harvest emails, and that was the only point of it. But that doesn't seem to make sense to me. But anyway, I'm just I want to hit you with the hardest questions that the media is saying about you, whether they're fair or not, and give you get people to hear from you and your take on it. So that's the latest claim from NBC is your only agenda here is to build an email list. What would you say to that?
That is complete lie. That's BS. We all know that. It's internet marketing, and that's what we're doing. We're building the wall. We're raising funds. We have a charity now, a 501c4, and it's called internet marketing.
Okay, so a spokesman for GoFundMe told NBC News that all donors would be refunded, but those donors will be offered a way to refuse the refund. Is that makes sense? That's your understanding with GoFundMe?
GoFundMe is following through on my promise to refund everybody.
Okay.
That is my promise. Initially, I told everyone we would refund everybody if we didn't meet the goal. That's my word. I'm a man of my word, and I'm going to allow everyone to back out of this deal if they want to back out of the deal before we move forward.
Okay, great. Because I think that's the biggest misinformation I saw right away is people making it seem like it wasn't. And even according to NBC in this article, I mean, this is the way they do people is they talk about things that everyone else does, but then they make it seem like nobody else is doing it. Like, oh no, he's building an email list. It's like, well, I mean, wait a minute. Like Hillary, Bernie, the RNDNC, every CPAC, every organization, Share Blue, Act Blue. It's interesting. I've never seen the article on NBC News saying that when you donate money to Beto, he's building an email list, right?
Right.
Well, it's like he is, but now suddenly for you, this is of course a very
they're scared of the wall. That's what it is. They're scared that the people are coming together. They fear this movement. They fear it. They don't want it because they can't control it, and that's why they're afraid of it. And just what would they have done if I didn't offer a refund? Could you imagine that if they would have called me out for not following true on my word? So it's lose-lose for me, but we're winning because we're building the wall, and Nancy and Chuck can't do anything.
Yeah, wow. I mean, I'm reading these articles. They're going at you hard, man. I mean, I live it, so I'm used to it. But when it happens to someone else, I'm like, wow,
Mike, I lost 3 limbs for this nation. You think I am worried about some little liberals spewing off about some stuff that what they're doing? It doesn't affect me. I faced way worse stuff than what they're doing right now. There's nothing they can throw at me that's going to discourage me. There's nothing. We're following through. And that's why I think people are getting pissed and donating more. they can keep attacking me, but people are just going to donate more. It's going to backfire. And you can go read the comments on my page. People are pissed and they're donating more.
Yeah,
So keep it coming, guys.
Yeah, I'm reading somebody just said they donated $300. Seems like, yeah, the attacks are backfiring. Okay, so where can people find out more about the project, the domain name, the URL, and everything else they might want to know?
WeBuildTheWall.us. Very simple. WeBuildTheWall.us.
Okay, and finally, this is my favorite question to ask of guests. What's one question I didn't ask you that you wish I had asked you?
Man, Mike, you hit them all, I think. Let me think. How about you come up with another question? Think of a hardball.
Well, I think I hit you with the hard ones. I mean, I was literally reading Bree's BuzzFeed. Yeah, I mean, I'm reading the hate articles. I'm literally reading in the hate articles in real time. That way, nobody in the media can say, oh, he didn't, he gave a softball. I'm like, no, I'm reading your articles. I'm asking you what you're saying.
There was one thing I'd like to clear up. Mm-hmm. It goes back to the GoFundMes, my previous GoFundMes. GoFundMe released a statement to NBC and BuzzFeed, but they left those news organizations left out all the details, and GoFundMe is basically pissed off now at those networks because they twisted what they said, the spin lies about this. And I had a Wounded Warrior Mentor program, which the GoFundMe, they didn't mention that. And that $16,000 that you may be seeing in the media saying, oh, I stole $16,000, that's completely false. That $16,000 went to my Wounded Warrior Mentor program. I wasn't supposed to give it to anyone else. That went to my program to fund my travel to go visit wounded warriors in the hospital. But they left that information out, and they just said it didn't go to the hospital, which isn't a lie because it didn't go to the hospital. Oh. And so they're spinning it like that. And so GoFundMe is just, they're irate about it. They're irate because they used their own words against them and now against me to make me look bad and make them look bad, like they're scamming too, which is not the truth at all.
Okay, gotcha. So because I just got to the detail where they said 16,000 never went to someone, but that was never supposed to be the case.
Yeah, it went to me, and the money was raised for me. Mm-hmm. It wasn't raised for someone else. It wasn't raised for a hospital. It wasn't raised for another charity. It was raised for me. And I had friends set it up, and they raised the money for me. And guess what? That money went to me. And that's what GoFundMe said. It went directly to Brian Kolfage, because it did. And it funded my travel to go do my award-winning mentor trips to Walter Reed. And this is what the liberal media is focusing on.
Oh, I just saw this one too. Are you suing Facebook? They said you're planning on suing Facebook for banning you.
No, we are planning on suing Facebook for antitrust violations.
Okay.
And Congress is going to be investigating them in a couple weeks.
Yeah, because I remembered they banned you. I assume that they let you back on. So Facebook never let you back onto your pages?
No, they shut down my coffee company, military grade coffee company. We spent over $300,000 building that. And because of my political opinions, that's why they did it. They're treating me like Alex Jones. All they said was we were manipulating the algorithm. That was it. So we're manipulating the algorithm, so we're banned from Facebook.
Yeah, that is fascinating to me because when I saw that you got banned, I said, oh man, this was a few weeks ago. I said, oh, they'll let him back on for sure. And they didn't. Wow. They just, I guess that's what they're doing is they're getting rid of people and then just hoping that everybody forgets that it happened and move on to something else. Incredible.
Yeah. Well, I don't forget, and I'm definitely not moving on from it. So we have lawyers who are handling everything on the side, so I don't have to deal with it much, but it's going to be happening. The Freedom Caucus is getting involved, and they're going to be hammering away. And I made a promise that Zuckerberg is going to get hauled back in, and I'm going to follow up on that and make true to my word. You will see Zuckerberg hauled in under another investigation.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. One more time, I think it was buildthewall.us. Did I get that right?
WeBuildTheWall.us.
WeBuildTheWall.
Check it out. We got an amazing team.
Okay, WeBuildTheWall.us. We're talking to Brian, who again has raised $20 million and on a GoFundMe, and now they're moving it to a different direction because they can't get the money to the feds. We haven't heard the last from Brian, and I'm sure from the rest of the media on this. So thanks again so much for talking to everybody and answering questions.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me on, Mike.